and play on 2nd and 10. That's his youth right there.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
Well, it's time for a game-by-game prediction and roster discussion video for the Missouri Tigers. So head coach Eli Drinkwitz had a very good recruiting class for Missouri in 2025. It ranked 16th in the country and had 11 four-star recruits. And I think that Drinkwitz is a good coach. He's had an 11-2 season in 2023 and a 10-3 season in 2024. And if he wins 10 or more games this year, I will say that he's a great coach and not just a good coach because it's very hard to win 10 games at Missouri, especially 3 years in a row. And offensively, they weren't very good last year. They averaged 26.3 points per game. And I don't think they'll be very good overall this year either. I think they'll be similar to last year. So at quarterback, Brady Cook is gone, and he was a good quarterback for them for 3 seasons. They'll probably be down at quarterback. The quarterback this year will be Bo Prabula, a transfer that they brought in from Penn State. He's only a 3-star recruit, but he was at Penn State's backup quarterback last year, and he did lead some scoring drives, and he was put in some to run, not just in garbage time. He's a very good runner. He only got 38 carries last year, but he had 242 and 4 touchdowns, averaging 6.4 yards a carry. And he threw 35 passes last season and completed 26 of them, which is at 74.3%, and for 275 yards. And he threw 5 touchdown passes and had a good 7.9 yards per throw average. When he was playing last year, he played well. I think he could be pretty good for Missouri. So at wide receiver, they're going to miss Luther Burden and Theo Weiss. But Kevin Coleman, the transfer they brought in from Mississippi State that I've talked some about in other videos, I watched him in the Egg Bowl last year, and even though I'm an Ole Miss fan, I will say he really impressed me with what he was able to do in that game. And last season, he had 74 catches for 932 and 6 touchdowns, averaging 12.6 a catch. Here's a clip of him making a touchdown catch that you can watch.
Boy. Nice block on the outside. Springs Coleman and lunges for the goal line. Touchdown, Bulldogs, 31 yards.
And at running back, they bring in a good running back from Louisiana Monroe, Ahmad Hardy. He had last season in 12 games at 1,351 yards and 13 touchdowns on 237 carries, averaging 5.7 a carry. And the offensive line is concerning because they lose 3 starters, including Armand Mimboa, who got drafted in the first round. But they do return left guard Caden Green, who is really good. He only allowed 1 sack and 11 total pressures last season. And they did bring in 4 transfers that will help them out. So I think this will be kind of an average offensive line. So defensively is the good part of Missouri's roster. They were really good here last year. They only gave up on average 18 points per game, and I expect similar to that this year. They were really good in the secondary. The secondary only gave up on average 181.3 yards passing per game, which ranked the 18th best in the country. So on the defensive line, they've got two starters coming back, Zion Young and Chris McClellan. Young had last year 42 tackles and 2.5 sacks and three pass breakups and a forced fumble for a touchdown and eight total quarterback pressures. And McClellan had 39 tackles for and 2.5 sacks and two pass breakups and six total quarterback pressures and a forced fumble. And they bring in a really good defensive lineman from Georgia, Demond Wilson, a five-star recruit. He wasn't a starter for Georgia last year, but he was very much involved in the rotation and was a big help to their defense last year. He had 22 tackles and three sacks and 26 total quarterback pressures and two forced fumbles. Here's a clip of him that you can watch.
Jalen Walker is standing up. He's coming, and they got him. It's sacked by Damon Wilson.
So at linebacker, they've got two good ones. They return Tristan Newson, who had in 12 games last year 71 tackles and a sack and a forced fumble and a pass breakup and five total quarterback pressures. And they bring in a really good linebacker from West Virginia, Josiah Trotter, who had in 12 games 92 tackles and two pass breakups and an interception and five total quarterback pressures. And at safety, they return two really good ones, Marvin Burks and Dalen Carnell. Burks had last year 66 tackles and two pass breakups and an interception. And Carnell had 51 tackles and seven pass breakups and two forced fumbles. And they bring in a really good safety from UNLV, Jalen Catalan, who had last year 96 tackles and five interceptions, one for a touchdown and four pass breakups and two sacks and a forced fumble. And they bring in a good safety from Virginia Tech, Mose Phillips, who had last year 65 tackles and three pass breakups and an interception and forced fumble and a sack in 12 games. So this is a deep safety room. And at cornerback, they return Dre Norwood, who had last year 34 tackles and three pass breakups and two interceptions. And they bring in a good cornerback from Washington State, Stephen Hall, who had last year 50 tackles and three pass breakups and a pick at six. So now for the game by game predictions, starting with Central Arkansas, this will be a big win for Missouri. They should win this one by like 50 points, and their second string should play the whole second half. So now Kansas, this is going to be a close game, I think. Kansas has a roster that I think if they can do better in close games than they did last year, they could have a pretty good season. Kansas, I think, has a better offense than Missouri does, but I think Missouri has a better defense than Kansas does. And I'm going to go with Missouri to get the win because they're the home team. But if this was a road game, I would probably go with Kansas. So now Louisiana, this probably won't be quite as easy of a win as Central Arkansas will be, but it'll be an easy win for Missouri, where they should get to play their second string the whole second half of it. And now South Carolina. So South Carolina will have the quarterback advantage, but Missouri's secondary is better than South Carolina's. It is, I think, and South Carolina does have two good defensive linemen that I think can cause problems for the Missouri offensive line. But Missouri's quarterback being a good runner will help them out with that. And Missouri's front seven, I think, can cause more problems for South Carolina's offensive line than South Carolina's will be able to do to Missouri. And South Carolina is a team that I think is really average offensively and defensively, with a really tough schedule. And Missouri's a team that is average at best offensively, but really good defensively. So I think they're a little bit better than South Carolina overall, and they're the home team. So I think they get this win in a pretty close game. So now Massachusetts, this will be a big blowout win for Missouri. Another one where their backups will get a chance to play in the second half. So now Alabama, this is the game I'm most confident that Missouri will lose. Alabama's offense has a great offensive line and wide receiver room that they can lean on. That Missouri won't really have, even though Alabama is going to have a new starting quarterback too. And Alabama's defense is even better than Missouri's. Now, Alabama's defense this year, I don't think will be as good as a lot of those Nick Saban defenses of the past were, but it's going to be good enough to where you're going to have a good offense to be able to score much on them. And I don't think Missouri will be able to do that. I think Alabama wins by a couple of scores. So now on the road at Auburn, I don't think Auburn is going to be a very good team. I think Missouri's a better team than they are. And I think Auburn's going to struggle to score points again this year. But Auburn, when they're at home, even when they're not very good, they sometimes play really well. And Auburn does have a really good offensive line, and they've got wide receivers that can challenge the Missouri defensive backs. And while Jackson Arnold is not a very good passer, he's certainly not a statue. He can run around pretty well, and I think he'll help them with that. And Auburn's defense is going to be very solid this year. I don't think Missouri will be able to score very much in this game, and I think that Auburn is going to get this win. So now on the road at Vanderbilt. So Vanderbilt has enough coming back to where it's possible they could win this game, and I think it'll probably be a close game. But I don't trust Vanderbilt's offensive line, and I don't think that their secondary can really slow down Kevin Coleman. And Vanderbilt's linebackers will help them out a lot on defense, but I don't think that Vanderbilt's defensive line is going to be very good. So I still think Missouri's going to be able to run some in this game, and I think Missouri gets the win. Really, I think they split the two road games in a row with Auburn and Vanderbilt, but I picked Auburn for the loss and Vanderbilt for the win because Auburn's so much tougher of a place to play than Vanderbilt is. And now at Texas A&M. Texas A&M has got a better roster than Missouri does. They've got a better run game, and while I think they'll be a better passing team than Missouri, I'm not convinced they'll be a lot better at it. And defensively, they're about the same overall. And these two teams, though, were a lot closer than it seemed when they played last year. And I think Missouri will play a lot better against A&M this time. I think they'll be a lot better prepared defensively. And I just have a feeling that Missouri will get one good win. And I think playing at home, this is the one. So now Mississippi State. So even though I'm an Ole Miss fan, I will admit that Mississippi State will probably be a little more competitive in year two under Jeff Lebby, but I still don't think it's going to mean very many, if any, more wins than they got last season. And I think Eli Drinkwitz is way ahead right now of Jeff Lebby as a head coach, and Missouri has a much better defense. So I think Missouri wins this one fairly easily. So now on the road at Oklahoma. So if you watched my Oklahoma prediction video, you know I have them with two losses in this game too. So this would probably be a loser misses out on the college football playoffs game. Missouri, I would say for sure would if they lost this game. If my prediction is right up to this point, because Missouri has the easiest SEC schedule, and Oklahoma has at least the third toughest schedule in the country. But Missouri's a team that is going to lean heavily on their defense this year, and Oklahoma has an even better defense, I think, than Missouri does. And I think the front seven for Oklahoma is going to cause Missouri's offensive line a whole bunch of problems in this game. And while I think that the offensive line for Oklahoma will struggle with Missouri's front seven in this game too. Oklahoma, I think, is better at passing. And even though I think Oklahoma will struggle to run the football in this game, I think that makes the difference at them being a better passing team. I've got to go with Oklahoma to get this win. And now on the road at Arkansas. So comparing these two rosters, Arkansas is going to be better at passing, I think, and Missouri probably a little bit better at running. And their offensive lines are pretty even. And on defense, the only spot that Arkansas can match up with Missouri at, I think, is line backer. I think Missouri's a better team, and I think it'll be close, but I think they get this win. So I really think that Missouri's going to split these two road games of Oklahoma and Arkansas, but Oklahoma made more sense for the loss because I think they're a much better team than Arkansas is. But I've got Missouri finishing the season at 9-3 overall and 5-3 in the conference. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe, and I'll be back soon.